Mane fa na se ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de o se dem yopo.
I know if you make a bunch.
Sorry, no. Let him come forward.
Very good afternoon to you. Today we came two cases, as I told you.
Can you bring your hand down?
The first case was criminal court 4, where we were expecting a ruling on our submission of no case. Indeed, the court gave us a ruling declining our application. It gave orders that the accused person should open his case, and before the opening of the case or otherwise, it was explained to him that he had right to remain silent. He could give a statement or he could open his case. We told the court that we expect the full ruling of the court to give us justification for the refusal, and then we can peruse it, and based on that we will advise our client to bring an opinion as to whether or not he's remaining silent, he's opening his case, or he's making statements. So the court has adjourned for 7 days. And don't forget that we have 2 days of public holidays. So they will not count. The weekends will not also count. So we're coming back next Thursday to give our opinion as to whether or not our client should open his case. Don't forget that as part of the responses, we may take a decision to apply or to appeal against the decision. There's a very strong possibility there. So when we have looked at the full rendition of the decision, then we will take a decision as to whether or not we are opening our defense or we are appealing against the decision. That will come on Thursday when we come. Yes, that is the decision of the court, and we disagree with it, but it is the decision of the court. So we will look at the options available to us, including the right of appeal. And in any case, to put it in summary, this is a case where an accused person, originally accused person, has now turned to be prosecution witness. Prosecution witness comes to court and says that I committed the offenses under the law. Yet, I am going to testify in support of the prosecution against somebody who did not commit, according to him, did not commit the offense, but facilitated the offense. This is a country, very lawful country, and if this is the way our criminal jurisprudence will turn out to be, it means nobody is safe, because any accused person at all can come and admit the commission of the crime and immediately turn out to be a prosecution witness and call any of us as having facilitated his commission of the crime. And immediately he is exonerated of the crime because he would have signed non-prosecution agreement. And then the person who the accused, who the offender is saying would have facilitated him, becomes the accused person. We live to see very interesting times ahead. So let me put that one to stop. And then let's look at the second case where today the documents that were not readable, we have replaced them, and that we have completed case management, taking dates for the trial. Indeed, the next agenda date being 29th of March. So we'll come here for the first prosecution witness to mount the bus, for him to tender documents or complete his evidence in chief, and then we will cross-examine. And we've taken 6 hours of cross-examination, broken into 2 hours a day. That gives us 3 days to finish with the first prosecution witness, who happens to be the original accused person turned prosecution witness, and the principal prosecution witness in this matter. This is the one of
the innocent one here on YouTube. Makasa, unsubscribe here, subscribe and be part of this intellectual family, and let's grow together. And I'm bringing you an update on something very, very, very important. I'm sure all of you have been following this prosecution. Chairman Wontumi, who is the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, FAC, with regards to the mining activities in the foreign reserve, Samara Boy, Abrana Akufo-Addo wa power no, or the Akakabin 73 Ekokoje Forest Reserve. Odi Tugalamse. He was not only say Odi Tugalamse. And now saying you can say no be de man for na boso meswa na ona momoso or je commission edge gold asase anya ne de because na ban ba power so obekaya abra na MPP wa power no there were a lot of concerns and I'm so more ne kwaku ba kokora nya asem and the newspaper and several other way na echepefe said the activities are na oye no was a sort of a menacing activity, a distracting, because Nagalam say about one of the topical issues and I can't want but this gentleman against all the odds was in the bush guided by security and then as a former or say in Sunin say our forest reserve issue nearby minerals commission by Bontebe say only license or the yes or the undertaking mining activities in the forest reserve. Don't forget within that same time na parliament pass mra na ema ban no ho kwan man twitwa forest reserve man nkro for enti eni ba ho so no na almost be 22 forest reserve there na nipa akoko wuram a omudi tu galamsey say yadamo odwen ho a wonte ase forest reserve wada ho from Kwame Nkrumah penso besi nne no ewie no na ye twitwa ma bunu enye large scale mining no eye galamsey ni this small scale mining party folks omugum a omutu galamsey abra NDC take over 2025 no na almost 9 of these forest reserve crowd there na amanfo taking no completely. It took the intervention of the Minister of Land and Natural Resources and NABMOS and then other security agencies and sana omutimi taking control of this forest reserve amanfo gum ebinum ya China for ebinum ya Ghana for ebi ya party for omo saying so nin sase forest reserve move twanua na se fotogu. So Wontumi was one of the key persons na okasa niema we ho Emma at the time the issue came up. Emma na be a topical topic for discussion and people were expecting the Akufo-Addo's presidency to take the steps up or they be investigated that particular matter, but obakaya at the early stages and now man for expecting the officialdom so react to this particular you find saying bad situation. The president went ahead Eko Kuforudia Abrana Roman Catholic Bishop Ayomo conference a honor kwaje Mike and Mr. Clearing agent a ho and Claire Wontumi na one feria Bishop conference I say and Claire Chama Wontumi and I know the day it became a foolish case Obi am pursue because the executive president of the land akase nipa ni nifo who dare you? Now I say Odifo and now investigating, and he did the same thing when Sisi Ledapa issue came up. So I know the day these issues be a foolish case and a die ho. But when the NDC took over and the prosecution, Ďefense investigation says it became quite clear. Say Chama Wontumi Wontumi and a those forest reserve for almost say no, and the very people he worked with. Nipana or ne omon sell forest in as for no ebinum ene a prosecution witness, and I think the law allows it. Sebeya state any muram hobby. So how do you get proper information about me so at the achieve conviction? The best thing to do is to engage the same people who are part of it. You give them a deal so that they'll provide you enough insight. Sebeya who the technical details are a course so quite fast so these forest reserve na musa yen na se forum so that the state will be able to achieve prosecution. So as it stands now, many of the lieutenants are money Wontumi a forest a binum and a yak tiny or more to state prosecution witnesses are or more aid the state in prosecuting, and the case has been going on. Makacho say Wontumi the first case in here, there is another case, and that case has to do with and the campaign for me, say or the could be a bro, our kwaje Sika Agriculture Development Bank Sika, say or the barber yet your first farming. I non so no, it turned out to be fraud. One kwankwa ye Jumabia, a man for submit your mudim for payroll and as if he was not paying anybody. Or call and Kranza Cossa Trata go. And the Beguns assassin or Kujina with a picture, no, they are quite to talk, not knowing, say. Sa Sikano no the togalam say nema. So that particular issue no so I fresh our court. Very soon I think say it will start because say judiciary now speedy things up. I think that by now because the Attorney General in his last briefing 2025 naka say as early as January that particular case too will be going to court. I haven't followed. I don't have any update on that particular way, but I know said there is another case pending. But on this particular one, state I call it the state the prosecution witnesses. I'm more give you details and everything regarding a contaminating and an involvement in the destruction of your forest reserve. He's facing about 6 to 9 counts. Yemuguswa omudin semno. So state na boninkuru awie omo a as a state ene etoto omo ano. The witnesses that the state has to call omo testimony ni na sefo nyina state na ye nyuma nyina wie. So na emraso so ombema prosecution aye the accused the opportunity say state na wie ne de aduru so onso bra na beba wonkuro chama Wontumi kobie na no say he's filing for Ďefense no case, statement of no case ni say state otie nsema prosecution in asefo nom akana. They haven't been able to prove any reasonable grounds to be a warrant se oha no ho ebe chekere nsemu. That is what it means. Nsema state witnesses in asefo no afro mu ni nyina no. So it's like he's bluffing. Otie nsema state na aka no witnesses in asefo mo aka ni nyina na to him no kwase asema nsɛmhunuma no ɛhu nhia kra so obebie any defense bia so obeka nsɛm bia enti court no ngina nsɛmhunu na court Ďefense state na ka no na ɔmo nsɛm no ngu sɛ nsɛm no prosecution hasn't been able to adduce any reasonable evidence bia warrant on the time ne attention ne we so obebie na no so obekyerekere nsɛm bia mu. At this point Wontumi say in some states, Attorney General, state prosecution, witnesses or more friend and asefo nyina edia baba kanina sabi ayamkwase asema yensemhunu nyina so bi anim enti state court no montungu. That was what the court ruled on today. Enti court no so okay as a standard practice we need to review na yɛhwɛ sɛ ampa state ni some no mod by sabi ayamkwase asema na nyina so onim ye montungu state and a court no kwatena ase ohwehwɛ mu nyina no se dabi. And some na state ne diabo Wontumi no enye nsɛmhunu eyansama sabi reasonable grounds ye betimi agina so ama ya make a decision enti Wontumi ne ho kwan so begina ba bia aka sɛ witnesses ne nsama state na ka ne nyina ne nsɛmhunu and for that matter enti no state ne mo nsɛm no ntungu court no say obo state in nsem no to go enye ye because at the preliminary stage or share nsem na state na kan cases na omode abono the charges na omode abono nsem na state na chirechirem nsase no ne prosecution witnesses nsem na omo aka na dabi obogu enye ye nsem no emu ye duru enti wa match my Wontumi a number of days as soon as possible no ombra no mebie ne case ne defense na asembia owo kafa nsem na state no ne prosecution no ene your friend is saying witnesses na aka ne nyina no omra ntentem no meka ne side of the story sebe ya court no betimi atio no nso na wagina so no de ato nseni ani na ordinary ruling na babontin. So that is the stage ayewo ene enti Chairman Wontumi has been ordered by the court say open the defense but say net here opening of defense and anya by force. Chairman Wontumi can decide say on kasa. He can decide say on be any defense biya, and that will allow the court to look at what the prosecution has presented na against the fact say Wontumi say only asembia kano. The mere fact that only assembia kana doesn't mean say obebu aguni. So when the state has not been able to prove its case, come I catch say in criminal prosecution, you need to prove beyond every reasonable doubt, and yet on the balance of probability. So even where the accused decides say on kasakura na court rumungunu, so you will be able to judge the case based on the merits of the prosecution, ewo. I will be approve any of the cases beyond every reasonable doubt. Indeed, Chairman Wontumi is guilty. So this is the stage I woman. Chairman Wontumi and then the lawyers no one can the court as to whether they will open their defense or the court should go ahead and give ruling. So Amoka say omu ni case be open, and then the court will have no other option than to give a ruling on this particular matter. Now you close to the chapter on this Chairman Wontumi way. So my culture say in as much as people feel say near my ankles, behind the scenes, these things are happening very soon. I don't know how many days Chairman Wontumi will use to open his defense. I don't know the number of witnesses he will have to call to make up his case. But very soon this particular case will be decided, and Ghana for akoma beto boyem say Chairman Wontumi be di for so be di bem and no there our court no nsem but the state is doing what it's supposed to do, because this particular case way enye Mahama ban way enese nka eba na be prosecute Sena Akufo-Addo responsible president and can never so NSA issue way by his own people like Kwakuba Akon and Co were the people who were raising the red flags about Chairman Wontumi's involvement in the Samurai Boy Forest and then Nema Ekoso. But Panina Sabi, Shame Fano Honobu, and Niguso Kokle Chairman Wontumi. Here we are back again once in court. The state is trying to prove this particular case. And the honor you drew on this Chairman Wontumi case. And another breaking news I never told you, say, the former national chairman of the MPP has been arrested by the Ghana police. Freddie Blay. Only the delegate newspaper over the years, that propagandist mouthpiece, NIA ownership. And this particular arrest, has nothing to do with government. I'm told, say, Wakubu be property. And a police for so that is by way of update on this particular way. So on the other side of the prosecution, also the Attorney General is being criticized, but my culture said it is not as if nothing is happening, because almost about 27 dockets available. Say Attorney General now the burden is shifted to the court to also make whatever effort be on me as or more be to ensure say there is a speedy prosecution of these cases, because my culture said the judiciary will have to match the energy of the state, because we've gotten to a point that Ghana for want accountability. Now in ensuring that accountability the judiciary have a crucial role to play. So over the years, people over some time now, the Attorney General and Attorney General or China Attorney General a man for bashing. If he has been able to put 27 dockets across board involving over 100 and over people, he's not sitting idle, he's doing something. So now the court will also have to work and ensure this case is docket now ready, ebeko court na contentem me say I know cabinet has given a directive for your friends and tribunal, regional tribunal na ebeko so but say nyanya ready we can do what Godfrey Odame and the court were doing. Saturday, Sunday, ni nyina court tenase DISASSOCIATES we there must be a speedy prosecution sabaya ebe match the energy of the public na obi ordinance sababo mind sikamni na sefobia no also will be dealt with. And going forward, I think you see we need to also establish the baseline protocols. Ebetimi limit some of these corrupt occurrences are happening in our politics. And in doing so, it's not just about establishing this conventional red line, because the conventional red lines and very often what happens? We need to take proactive measures to also stop some of this nonsense happening. And Nuntina at forcing this particular audit, Ghana Audit Service and PricewaterhouseCoopers and NY, EY, this particular audit, this indeed. Krono akesia akoso okrom ha no me say we bi wo ho wotia wakoma bebubu but akoso enti saa niema we na betimi aboayen amaya resolve some of these issues. Now I'm trying say nka mehu some of the cases na baby etimi emma nipa sika so supply more over 50 million na kwabrane afasika na di no supply kakra bi no akwaje ne sika where yetime present account says sika na ready, but I think that is a long distance that I have to do it in a separate video. So that is it by update regarding Chairman Wontumi's case. And it's a winning follow that is what it is. So we'll be following the development and the because and we will give you an update. Thank you very much for following the
PENDREAM TV. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.